Because I agree, I've sat here long enough with bad roads that sometimes I've lived on that had compaction or lack thereof issues. And all Clark, I think, is really saying when it comes right down to it is let's put the developer, let's put the engineering firm, let's put the contractor on notice that we're checking this stuff. And it's gonna be done right. Okay? Just run the flagpole way up in the air and say, hey, we're tired of it. We want it done right, okay? And make sure our department heads are noticed that they're out there. Not just show up at 5:30 when everybody's gone home. Go out there during the time that they're working to know that they're out there checking on them. That's my 2 cents.
We're gonna keep an eye on this stuff, okay? All right, moving on to the next hearing on August 18th, 2020 meeting. The council set this as the date and time to hear a public comment regarding vacating right-of-way within the Dogwood First Edition. The 30-foot right-of-way was platted as a future 20th Street Southeast within Dogwood First Edition. Dogwood Second Edition was later platted with the alignment of 20th Street Southeast shifted south. With the same shift, the city has no need for the right-of-way. I'm going to open the hearing now and ask for if there's any written or objections to any of the comments of vacating or conveying this hearing by anyone. I'll ask once again if there's any comments or oral objections or written objections to the vacating of this hearing. Hearing none, I'm going to close the program, and the administration recommends the property return to the owner of Lot 6, Dogwood First Edition. I'd entertain a
Motion to adopt resolution 2034 vacating right-of-way in Dogwood's First Edition and reconveying to Dogwood Properties LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second.
Just a comment.
All right.
This is an ordinance change.
No.
This is
not.
It
It's
says
just a resolution
Okay.
to get rid of the right of way.
Yeah. Okay, did we have a second?
Yep, I did.
Motion made and second to adopt resolution number 20-34, vacating right-of-way within the Dogwood First Edition and conveying to Dogwood Properties LLC. Do we have a roll call on that, Bev?
Nelson?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Richard?
yes.
Knapp?
Yep.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to the general discussion. The way we handle our general discussion is that if anybody has any concerns or fine comments about the city or anything that they'd like to talk about, we ask them to step up to the podium, state their name and address, and the council cannot make any decisions today on the topics, but by the same virtue, they're always willing to listen. So is there anyone that would like to make a comment?
I won't be long.
Mary Reynolds. State your name and address.
I will. Mary Reynolds, Lamar's, Iowa. I'd just like to take a moment to update the council that Rich Zitlow and I have been checking on the fiberglass ice cream cones, and we are having them repainted. We have gotten sponsors that will help us with the public cones. Mike and Cheryl Wells have stepped up and will cover the cost of those that are owned or placed on public property. And Mick Even is taking off the paint. The artist will paint it, and then it goes to Total Motors to be clear coated with an automotive paint, which should last even longer. We have probably about a dozen cones, and we're doing various artists to get them repainted and put up so that the town looks great for ice cream days and Rye Brine next year. Thank you.
Good move, Mary. That's great.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Mary is the goal to refurbish all 50.
Is there any other Yeah, Nancy?
Nancy Toma, 1943 4th Avenue Southeast. I'll just take a few minutes. Since I was here, I was asked to provide update of information about the college golf tournament weekend that's coming up this coming weekend. My mind is in a way deep level of detail, but I'm going to bring it up to some overview for you. But if you have detailed questions, I hope I can answer them. This year, it's a longer event because we postponed the parent-child tournament and the Dan Beaver tournament or exhibition from Memorial Day to this coming weekend. We considered the COVID, the pandemic, very carefully, talked to a lot of community members, talked to a lot of people who sponsored last year and put their finances behind it. And after a lot of careful consideration, we did decide to go ahead. We waited until August, until the NAIA issued their guidance on COVID screening and participation of NAIA schools in athletic events. So we do have procedures in place for all of the teams, and the coaches will be taking care of that to assure that the NAIA requirements are met, and we'll be doing screenings of all the people who will be in contact with the college players. It's going to be a very fun event, I believe. We're doing most everything outside. We have made some changes, no sit-down banquets, things like that. All of the meals will be taken to go to be eaten out on the course somewhere. And we have more people this year staying in our hotels. We did get a grant of $5,000 from hotel motel tax, so there'll be more hotel heads on beds this year. We also are giving, instead of the banquet, we're giving vouchers to local restaurants for the teams to go and either carry out or sit in and dine. So that part of business is coming back. We have used the city's money to purchase items that we'll give to the college players and teams to go. They're getting alignment rods with the city logo on them. They're getting t-shirts with the city logo and Willow Creek on them. They're getting, we're also purchasing little insulated lunch bags with the logo on them so that they can take those and they'll use them for lunch on Monday and take them back with them. And there's one other item I'm forgetting, I think. But anyhow, so that we really are appreciative of that because I think it says a lot about Lamar's and our willingness to host an event. The field of college teams is at 22. We lost a lot of the teams that were coming from further away because of COVID, and it's going to be a little more regionally based this year. There'll be 10 women's teams and 12 men's teams. We have 2 from Texas, 2 from Oklahoma, 2 from Missouri, and the rest are from Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. So the college event is Monday and Tuesday, but preceding the college event, we have the College Am, which we held last year, where local players can play with some of the college students. We have about half of the entries that we had last year. Last year we had about 120. This year we're right around 60. We're still getting some last-minute people to come in. But the Dan Beaver exhibition, I think will be a fun thing. It's outdoors. We want people to come, bring their lawn chairs. Some of our sponsors will have some priority seating right up front, and he's sure to be very entertaining. He's really excellent at what he does. And he's been planning for us for a while. He's been talking to Dan quite a bit. And then the parent-child tournament will be that day. And again, not as many entries as we like. I think that's COVID related. Probably about 40 people will play in that, and then they'll enjoy the Dan Beaver exhibition after that. And he's going to be around even on Friday. And he's playing with some local golfers who wanted to spend a little money and make that be their donation to junior golf in Northwest Iowa. So he'll be playing in a foursome not only on Friday, or on Friday, but also one on Thursday. He's added a second one in. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Nancy at all? I might add, Nancy, that I don't know if you were, Dan was in this morning, and we were talking about the Dan Beaver program, and we want to extend an invitation to all the council members. We have special seatings for you if you want to join us, and that's at 4:30 on Saturday afternoon, I believe it is.
Yep.
This coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday at 4:30, so he said. And we'd welcome you to join us. And like I say, there's a special section set for the great people here.
Sounds good. We will do that. I hope you all make it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nancy.
Yeah.
I do want to say this.
I don't know if I can get out of
I'm
it.
well aware of what you've all been through and your committees in regard to putting this on again because of the coronavirus. And I respect what you're doing and your committee people and everything. I just want to thank you for doing it.
You're very welcome. We're enjoying ourselves.
Okay. Dave? Shipper.
Fire Chief Shipper, just letting the council and the citizens know there will be no Pancake feed October 4th. Usually we have the kickoff of Fire Prevention Week and we start off with our little open house and Pancake feed, but with 560 people last year, which was a great turnout to try to separate the distance factor for the pandemic stuff, that's not going to work. However, you can still drop your checks off if that's normally where you make your donation at Fire Station number 1 or P.O. Box 35, because that will be kind of a funding loss for us. It's been a pretty good little fundraiser the last few years. Even though we don't do it for that reason, we do it to kick off Fire Prevention Week. We are still going to do the school talks where we're allowed. We've already got some of those set up to go in and talk to the school-age kids about fire prevention. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the individuals and the businesses that donated close to $5,700 for the handouts that go to those children, K through 5th grade, and actually preschool now as well. They get the color books and the educational materials, and that's all done with business and personal donations. So thanks to those folks that continue to support that very valuable program. I believe it works. We don't have a juvenile fire setter problem in Lamar's. Not as bad as communities our size or C, so I think all of that's part of that program and the support, so thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Any other comments for discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to the thumbs up award. Mike?
I'll pass.
Claire?
I'm gonna pass too.
Jeff? Okay.
Just a comment, we had the, what do they call it, Vice President of Iowa, Lieutenant Governor.
Lieutenant Governor. yeah.
Okay, him and Adam Brown were in town,
Mhm.
a lot of good press on it. My comment would be to be sure that all the people who worked on the committee on housing for 2 or 3 years, including the mayor, that use map, also mentioned that's one of the reasons that went off so well, is all the different departments working together.
Appreciate fine comments, you're right, Ken. Lieutenant Greg was in, I believe it was, I can't remember, I think it was last Friday or Friday before. At 4:30 he came in, and the reason he came in was because he wanted to see how the money was being spent as far as housing in our local towns. And he was very, very impressed with the visit that he had here. So I think it was a very good move, and I think we got to thank Neil, I don't know, is Neil here, for setting that up, and the comments that we got from it, Neil, so thanks a lot. Okay, moving on. Today we've got consent items. There are 7 of them. All items listed under the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. The first one is approval of September 1st, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of the bills for period ending 9/11/20. The third one is the monthly financial statement for August of 2020. The fourth one is the 5-day liquor licenses and outdoor service areas for lockers. The fifth one is the urban revitalization tax exemption request. And the sixth one is the hospital board vacancy. And the 7th one is the annual street finance report. Does anybody have any questions about pulling any of these before we vote on them? I noticed Dustin Wright is here from the hospital. if you have any questions on the hospital board vacancy, he would be most happy to try to answer. Carrie, you're seeing none. Thanks, Dustin.
Dustin, is that a 5-board panel?
Correct.
That's a 5-board panel, so the vacancy could potentially present a split decision.
We're gonna get it posted first thing tomorrow, and then, hopefully get some nominations and people interested, bring it to the board in October and get somebody replaced as soon as possible.
Okay, that's fine. I just was curious. You guys probably don't have a ton of split decisions, do you?
Not to my knowledge.
Usually? I wouldn't think so, so yeah, no big deal.
Very
Okay.
fortunate like that, yeah.
Okay. What's that?
Nothing like us.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 7, with 7, I believe, the resolution 2036,
Second.
35.
Sorry.
Subtract those numbers.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to, oh, excuse me. Did you have a question, Jason?
There's a resolution in there, I think.
It's a roll call, that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's 7 pages for the street reports that
yeah.
somebody can figure out, let me know.
We'll call you collect. Okay, we got a motion approved and second for the consent items. Do we have a roll call on those, Bev?
Knapp,
Yep.
Donlin,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Motion carried. The next item is the action items, and the first one is the approval of public improvements at Prairieview. The Prairieview addition is complete, and a request has been made for council to accept the public improvements. Number one, they're as follows. Number one, as-built drawings completed by Schofield Engineering. Number two is the engineer certificate to be provided by Schofield Engineering. And number three is a maintenance bond and lien waivers have been provided. The city administrator recommends acceptance of the public improvements subject to any or all uncompleted requirements. I entertain a motion to accept.
everybody knows where this is at.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Jason.
Everybody knows which one this is. That's that Vision Builders.
That's
Back behind
across
Holiday
from,
Inn.
across from Brown's, down there by the airport. And the Vision Builders is the Prairieview program, right?
Yep.
Any other questions? Any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the public improvements for the Prairieview addition, subject to all uncompleted closeout items.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and second to accept the public improvements for the Prairieview addition, subject to all uncompleted closeout items. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number two on the action items is the 2020 Cleveland Park Restroom Improvement Project. Plans have been prepared by Schofield Engineering for the 2020 Cleveland Park Restroom Improvement Project. The project involves the construction of a new restroom on the east side of the Cleveland Park, adjacent to the new playground and future parking lot. Attached is a site plan showing the location. It is possible this project could get started this year. However, realistically, early in 2021. The intent is to bid the parking lot and the sidewalks early in 2021 for fiscal year 2022 construction. The administration recommends approval by the council to proceed the following schedule. The first one is a public hearing, which would take place on October 6, 2020. They would receive bids October 29th, 2020 at 10 a.m. They would award the contract November 3rd, 2020, and the latest start by May 1st of 2021, and the completion date of June 30th, 2021. The project estimated, financial part, the project estimate is $90,000 to be paid out of public facilities and improvements. Any questions on any of the Cleveland Park restroom or program?
Yeah, I know I went, any questions on the map, I guess, what was included there, on where it's gonna be?
So be on the east side, am I right, Jason?
Yeah.
Of the playground. Incidentally, we've had a tremendous amount of comments, by the way, of people
What was this?
using that park, and the kids have certainly used it, and I think it's a great improvement to the city of Lamar's. And I think really, I really feel that our contractor that we had has done us a very, very excellent job.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a little bit of consideration on delaying it till next fiscal year, but I want to keep it moving. Plus, I'm confident there's enough with the estimate. Feel comfortable there's enough that we can get this portion done. Broke it up and put the parking and the sidewalk, pushed it back to next fiscal year. So it is broke up that way.
Is the 90 just the restroom though?
It'd be the restroom.
And the parking?
No, it's the restroom. Then there's underground because we have to get sanitary there, water there. So it involves tearing up a portion of that street connected to the manhole. So that's where I think the initial thought for that restroom was a little under 40. It'll be a block restroom. I didn't include that. That stuff will be included when we have the hearing on the plans. And
This
stuff.
will also be a seasonal facility.
Yeah, correct, like the rest of them.
Okay.
It won't be open in the wintertime.
Was Jason, did you say out by Ag Vision, on the trail out there? I know somebody had said something about that, kind of be what this one would be.
That's a single, I think that's a single user one out there.
Okay.
This one will be, there'll be two